Hey, how you doing? This is Tony the 6-String Corner, and today I'm going to show you Jacob's Ladder by Rush off the Permanent Waves album. It's a deep cut, but it's a fun cut, and it's definitely going to be challenging. So you ready? Be sure to buckle up. Tabs to this song will be in the 6-String Corner tab library down below, and without any further ado, let's get on with the lesson. So this song begins with a very clean channel. I have a little bit of reverb on here, probably more than I need, but it's very clean channel. Maybe put a little chorus in there, and here we go. So the first chord is a C. So a couple things about this. First of all, this is a C chord relative to, like, if this G had a capo, that's how we're playing this chord. But it's not a capo. Still makes it a C because all those notes make up the C major chord. So you're going to do this C shape where you're here on the 15, on the A, you're on the 14 on the D, open G, you got the pointer finger on 13 on the B, and then you open E. Now, this arpeggio patterns, I'll go through the chords and then I'm going to show you how you play them. They kind of alternate, but I'll explain in just a second. So we start off with a C, and then we do an A flat major bar chord. This shape is going to take us the rest of the way. So then we're going to be at an A flat major. And then we're going to go down to F major, G major, back to that A flat major, and down to an E major. And then we go back, we start again with a C, except the C is going to be a C bar chord here. And then we follow through the same chords to the A flat major. And then we go to the F major, except what we're going to do this time is we're going to lift up the bar so that we're not pressing on the B string. We have an open B. It's going to be, okay, I'll explain the pattern in a second. Back to G major, over to A flat major, and back to E major, and then we'll start the next part of the song. So the arpeggiated pattern is fairly simple. So you're going to start with on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what we're going to do here is just go from 5. Call this the A string, the 5 string. I'm going to give them numbers. It'll be a lot easier to explain it to you here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right. So there's 7 notes in that. Then we go to the next one. To the A flat major, is going to be 8 notes in here. So we're going from like a 7/8, I think, to a 4/4, I think. So this is the same pattern, except we're going to start on the lowest string, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you go to the F. Now we're going to do the 7 of the beats. 6, 5, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the G, we add that extra beat. In the A flat, we're going to take 1 beat out, and then over to the E major. And you just sort of alternate between the 8 and 7. 8 beats, 7 beats, and then back to the C. So just mind you that all these arpeggiated patterns start on the 6th string, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, and every other one adds 4. And that 4th beat is on the 4th string. It's, yeah, easy to remember. All right, so you go through that pattern twice. Then we go to the next part. You're going to just do this on one note on the C, and you're going to sort of mute it a little bit. This again is a repeating, how should I say it, repeating alternate patterns, or alternate patterns repeating. So you're going to start with bump, 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 right? They're all got bump, 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 bump. Sometimes it follows up with 2 notes. Sometimes it follows up with 3. It just alternates. Starts with 2. And then you do it again. And then 3. And then you just cycle that over and over. There's that one part where there's a quick power chord. I think that's when you're doing 3. It's a little later into that sequence where you go 1, 2, but you don't change. Then we go on to the next part of the song, and it's simple in concept. All right, so you're going from an F to a G to an A flat. All right, then we go to this section. So what we're playing there is a B and a C, but we have open B and E string. Actually, we have open B and E string for this whole section. So it's just bum, 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 bum. Some of you recognize that as a hemispheres chord. Comes back right here. All right. He might add a little extra strumming in here just for flavor, but it's the core rhythm is a bum, bum. Right, you might add a little bit of that on the G. All right, so you do that sequence 2 times, and then we go to the lead. The bulk of this is in a D major. So the way I play it is a little bit different than what Alex does. I think Alex does, like he's moving from lower to high. I'm a player that likes to keep it condensed. So I'm going to show you more of an efficient way. But if you want to do it the way he does, there's plenty of videos out there where you can see how he does that. But it's the same notes. No difference. So the way I play it is, right, this is all behind this B minor chord. It's kind of what that pattern is based on. So I got B and the D on the low E. We're going to skip the A, and then we're going to go on 7th fret on the D string, which is an A note, D note on the B, and then would that be F sharp note on the B string. All those on the 7th fret. Now the way I do it, I'm rolling. It's a pretty cool technique. I just take my pointer finger and I'm pressing down on the D string, and then I roll my finger back, releasing a little bit of pressure off that D so it's muted, and then I press the G string. And then you have options here. I go to a finger to play this, or you can keep rolling it. But be careful with the rolls so you don't hear. All right, it's not like that. There's no one note blending into the other. Right? And then that's all on the G string between 9 and 7. And I got a bend there off a 9th fret. And then I bend again to close that. All right? Now the next part, we're a little off of that B minor scale, but stick with me here on this one. So you're going to go on the B string, 12th fret, at least this is where I do it at, and you're going to bend a whole step, and then back to that note, and then the 11th fret on the B, back to 12 on the B, back to over to 14 on the B. All right? And then from this note here, you're going to then bend a half step, and then come back to it, and then we're going to go 12, 14, 15. And then you finish on the 12th fret on the high E string. Now, if you have an octaver, I believe there's a second guitar playing lower, or there's an octaver that he's actually using on the recording. It's hard for me to tell, but if you want to execute this live, if you've got an octaver, this is where you would put it in. It would be an octave lower, you know, still play up here, but only there. When you go back to the lead again, there's no octave. All right, so it's only in that part that you'll actually hear it. And then we go to the main part of the lead. There's a lot of really cool bends happening here, right? So you do that twice, right? Now, another way you could play that high E is you could actually go up here on 17th fret, same note, and that'll set you up for the next part of the lead because there's going to be a bend right there. All right, so let's just say this is the second time. So I'm doing these twice, right? So this is the second time I'm finishing it up. Some high bends up there, down, bow, bow, up on the 17th fret. And then you're going to do a really good push that bend really high up over here on the 19th fret. Same string, we're still sitting on the B. So, and then come back to that 17th fret, and then you're going to do another bend. So that's another added bend here on the E string on the 17th fret, and then you're going to come back and do another bend on the 17th fret. All right, so all that's a lot of notes there. So let me just try to show you. All right, and then that's coming back down here. We do a little bit of a bend on the G string. Let's see, we're on 17 to 16. All right, and then we're going to do this little lick here. Just a trill, you know, hammer on pull-off. And then we're going to end up back on this B note here, which is on 16 on the G. Putting that all together. Right back down to the B minor, we're going to play this. So you're going to bend, that's on, I'm using the 9th fret, bend on the G, and the 10th fret no bend on the B string. All right, pull off here, and then we're going to end, we're going to go, let's see, 7, 9 on the D, and then that's a 6 on the G. That's how you're going to finish that off. And then you go back and you play the solo again, beginning of 2 more times. The first one's just like you did the first 2. Second time, a little bit of difference. You're going to go, all right, but you're going to go down 7 to 6 on the G. And then this part's the same. And then we go back to where we were before we started. You know, the B, the C with the open strings. And now we come into the next part. Very rhythmic. So there's going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I think there's 4 parts here. But the same thing we're doing, we're going to go from F sharp to G to E, and then we're going to go B to C to A, all right? So we start with this. So this is the rhythm, so this goes twice. Bum, 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 bum. So we're going to do this sequence twice. So when I say sequence, one sequence is F sharp, G, E, F sharp, G, E, and then we do the same thing, B, C, A, B, C, A, and then you can repeat that. The next time you come in, the rhythm changes. We're still just doing power chords here, by the way, too. These aren't the major chords just yet. It's coming. And then the rhythm changes. It goes as this. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Same thing on the B, C, A. Right? You do that twice. Then we go to the third sequence. The third sequence, I'm hearing more of a full out chord happening here. So I think what this is all major chords here, which is really kind of interesting how they did that, but it's F sharp major, G major, E major. And then for the B to C, what I think is going on, at least on the recording, now on live you may do this a little bit different, but we're going B sus to C sus to an A sus, same shapes. This part also goes twice, right? So going, notice that the rhythm hasn't changed from the previous sequence, it was just doing full out chord. And then we come back one time. Right? It's still open power chords, just that sequence one. And then you go to the next part. Now this part is going to fade out to the big synth part, and we're going to go back to playing this. Right, and that kind of fades out as the keyboards take over. So the way you're playing that rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. And then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way out. So this next part, all right, now this is going from D major to an F sharp major. So what I'm doing here, and it's really, this is really coming right off this like a D major scale. And the timing is really weird. You count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically, I think this is actually a 13-4 or 13-8. So what we're going to do is we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and then we're going to go to an F sharp. Pattern is exactly the same. Here's how it goes. Again, think of that D major scale. So, right, we're playing a D, A, B. There's a G, F sharp, and over to a D. We're going to do that again. We're going to add that one extra beat. We're going to add this A note, which is on the D string. Now, the way I do it, I'm actually moving my little finger. It just works for me. You can actually, if you want, do your ring finger if you don't want, if you're not comfortable with that, and then come back. A little awkward, but then I think the way Alex plays is awkward anyway. So that's how you're going to play it. Now, but in the beginning, in the very, 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 very beginning, when it's kind of fading in, you just sit on that D for a while. Right? It stays here. It just stays there. There'll be a point, the drums will kind of make I'm listening for a certain beat, but you're going to then do two of these. Then you go down to the F sharp, play the exact same thing for 2 sets of 13. You're mostly muting it. There will be a point right before the drums establishes a beat. You're going to get off the muting and play a little bit louder. Then the drums come in here. And then you come back up to the D. That's where you'll hear Getty come in. Now what I do is I listen for that cue for the bass. When Getty comes in and starts playing, at least on the D, he's playing pretty much what Alex is doing on the D. You're going to do that D to F sharp sequence twice. So you're going to go F sharp, two times. When you come back to the D for the third time, that's how we're going to finish it. We're going to start with the 6 on the D, 6 beats, right? Then from there, we're going to play this. Right? It's 7 beats. We're going to go play on the E note on the G string. B note on the D string. Then we're going to play the A note on the D string. Pointer finger will be on the A flat on the D string. Back to the E note on the G string. And then the B note on the D string. And then from there you go to the F sharp, play the F sharp like you've been doing it. Then you come back to the D and play this new part at the end of it one more time. We're going to go back to an F sharp, but we're not going to play the pattern. We're going to play power chord. And you're just going to follow along with the band. Da, 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 da. So that's going to happen in here on the F sharp. And then we get to the very end of the song where there's going to be open chords here. There's an A sus, A sus, B sus, open strings. Then we're going to play the F sharp, but we're going to play it up here to E. And this is, I think you might want to call this an A over C sharp. All right, looks just like this here. To a D power chord. And then to an A. And that's Jacob's Ladder.